Well, hello everybody out there in internet land. This is Chris from HHNlegacy.com with another exciting episode of Topher's Log. And I said I'd talk to you a little bit sooner rather than later, probably a day later than even I anticipated for reasons, I guess. But we have our second house announcement of the season, and it is an original, and it is a throwback house, or sequel, prequel, whatever you want to call it, to the house from 2011 called Nightingale's Blood Prey. This year it is Nightingale's Blood Pit. That leaked codename list that came out, or the supposed leaked codename list that came out a couple of months ago. Pitt was one of the code names. Or at least I can say at this point that this is Pitt. I've been hearing a little bit about Nightingales for a while now. I heard about the whole gladiatorial thing quite a long time ago. Forgive me, I'm trying to get this video done in a timely manner because I don't have enough or a whole lot of time today to actually put this video together. But yeah, so Nightingale's Blood Pit, that is our house announcement for today. So we have two houses down, kind of following the same pattern, I guess, in a way of last year. We had the the big Stranger Things reveal last year, and then the next announcement was kind of like a classic throwback house in Dead Exposure Patient Zero. This is kind of similar. When it comes to the Nightingales in particular, for those people that don't know what the Nightingales are, I heard some people or saw some people on Twitter who were kind of confused into what the creatures are. In the first house, if you did not get to experience Nightingale's Blood Prey, the Nightingales were basically, they took a page from Lady Luck's book where they were shapeshifters. And in this case, they took the form of World War I field nurses, hence the name Nightingales. Nightingales is an obvious play on Florence Nightingale, the Red Cross nurse. But they took the form of field nurses out there on the battlefields of World War I. And what they do is they feed off of death or dying, sort of that type of thing where in a way they're kind of like, like succubi or succubus or whatever, or what's the other one? Incubus, where they sort of, instead of taking energy, what they do is they feed off death. Once the first house happened back in 2011, there was a lot of speculation that the Nightingales could come back at any period. I mean, because that's basically what they do, is they're creatures that basically just roam and try to find death and dying where they can to sort of feed off of that energy. And what gets me excited most about Nightingale's Blood Pit is the setting. Horror Nights has never actually gone to ancient Rome before. Now, I don't know how elaborate this thing is going to look. From some of the stuff that I'm being told, I think this is going to be going in a sprung tent. Don't quote me on that, but that's kind of the vibe I got from it. So I'm not quite sure exactly what or how far they can take the production design for this house. If I had to guess, they're not going to do something too grand because I think most of it kind of takes place in the gladiatorial sort of arena. With the gladiators battling each other and stuff like that, so I wouldn't expect anything like too massive, of a set design here, because that's kind of not the story. But the setting is unique because we've never actually gone to ancient Rome before, nor have we really had gladiators. The closest that I can really think of in terms of a gladiator type connection is Hades: The Gates of Ruin. Back in 2010, but we've never actually had like gladiators, ancient Rome, like gladiatorial combat, blood sport, that type of thing. So I think that to me gets me, a lot more excited than just seeing the Nightingales come back, because, well, the Nightingales became like a fan favorite because there was a lot of like insider things going on with some of the diehards and stuff like that. So a lot more of the diehards have a much more big affinity for the Nightingales. I am not one of those. I was like, oh, okay, they're kind of cool. And the house was kind of disappointing for me. I like the house. It comes, the first house, of course, was in 2011, and I consider 2011 to be the best collection of houses. Might not have been the best year overall for like icons and whatnot, but in terms of houses, 2011 is still my favorite year in terms of collection of houses. Every house that year blew me away. But Nightingale's Blood Prey was kind of at the bottom of the list for me, but that's not saying that it was a terrible house, because every house that year was very good. It was kind of disappointing in. I was really excited to see how they would execute the whole World War I setting, and while I think that they did an okay job, I don't think that they sort of knocked it out of the park for me. And I was kind of disappointed in the Nightingales themselves, because the Nightingales were kind of hyped up in this house, and they really didn't do it for me. So in terms of this house, Nightingale's Blood Pit, I am really looking forward to see how they pull off the Roman gladiatorial thing. Like, that is really what I'm more interested in, because we haven't seen it before. I want to see this new setting and how they do it and how they pull it off. Even with the Nightingales, and with the Nightingales in particular as well, how are they going to look? Because with the World War I house, they were dressed as the field nurses. So I'm really curious to see how they what are they disguised at this time. Could there be some gender swapping going on? Because the Nightingales in the first house were all women. They were women nurses from at least I don't remember any men in the first house. But could they be gender swapping the Nightingales this time? I don't know. Who knows? I guess that's kind of an interesting concept if they do sort of gender swap that, where they're the Nightingales are disguised as gladiators. Maybe, I don't know. But I would assume they'd be like the women of Rome around. That's kind of how I think. I don't recall seeing anything on the website about it. The website or the announcement on the blog was very plain. There was not a whole lot of information given about the house other than the setting and that we're going to have the Nightingales back. But there was also no video and no house announcement video, which I will assume will come later. But in terms of the announcement, it was not available on the blog unless they just kind of buried it or it just wasn't ready. Kind of telling as to because full disclosure, this thing was supposed to be announced yesterday, but on Thursday, I should say. And this thing, there was all sorts of crazy stuff and didn't get announced yesterday, so it was moved to today. So maybe with the no video and stuff, that could be kind of telling. Maybe there was some problem behind the scenes or whatever that they had to delay the announcement or whatever. But no video, so we don't have that. But not a whole lot of other stuff in terms of the announcement, other than it's Nightingales and it's set in ancient Rome and amongst the gladiatorial combat of ancient Rome. So so there's that. Nightingale's Blood Pit is our second house announced for Halloween Horror Nights 29. Please forgive the abruptness of this video. I'm trying to get it done before I have to head off to work. I was off yesterday, so I would have had a lot more time to do a video. But I was going to introduce a new feature in this video, but I don't have the time to do it today. So you'll get it not this Sunday. Today would be the this week's Topher's log for Sunday, but the next Sunday. Maybe I'll introduce the feature in that video. But yeah, so that's it, guys. 2 houses down, 8 houses to go. Not a whole lot of other things that I wanted to say about Nightingales. Just know that, because like I said, I did hear some confusion as to exactly what the Nightingales were. They're just shape-shifting creatures, that basically feed off of death and dying. And in the case of the name Nightingales, Nightingales is just basically a play off of Florence Nightingale, because in the first house, the Nightingales were disguised as World War I field nurses. So that's basically what it is. So yeah, maybe I should start a new series, just talking about all the different characters and creatures and stuff like that around Halloween Horror Nights. So the people that have not experienced it, I can sort of shed some light on that stuff. But anyway, guys, that is it for me this week. Go forth. We are 2 houses deep, 8 more to go, and I will talk to you guys next time.